What's growing on, gardeners? On today's 2-minute garden tip, I'm going to show you exactly why we plant our tomato transplants deeply and why you can take tomato suckers and root them to clone tomato plants. Tomato plants have the unique ability to form adventitious roots along the stems when in contact with moisture and in areas of high humidity. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. A week ago, we got walloped by Hurricane Idalia. I used to have 12 tomato plants growing in these straw bales, but unfortunately, I lost most of them. Most of my tomato plants were either snapped and they're hanging on by a thread like this, or they were plain old ripped out. As you can see, they look pretty terrible. Of the handful of tomatoes that did survive, their roots were dislodged, and I was afraid that those tomato plants were going to die too. However, because it has been so humid and wet here, and there's so much tropical moisture in our air, the tomatoes are starting to recover on their own. Here you can see the adventitious roots of the tomato plants at work. Because it's been so moist and humid in the air, I'm actually sprouting roots in the air along the tomato stem. And these roots are hanging down and they're starting to penetrate the soil level. So the tomato plant is actually recovering by generating more roots from up on high and rooting in additional places along the stem to recover that root system that was damaged during the hurricane. And that tomato plant's not the only one that's doing it. This tomato plant is doing it. This tomato plant is doing it, and this red snapper tomato plant over here is doing it too. Even this jalapeno pepper plant right here is doing it too. Those are adventitious roots that are forming along the stem. It's for this reason that we bury our transplants deeply when planting our tomato plants. When you bury the stem by a few inches, the adventitious roots will continue to grow and develop, and they develop even better in moist soil than they do in humid air. When you bury your tomato transplants deeply by several inches and bury that stem, you generally get a larger, stronger root system. This is also why we can quickly and easily clone our existing tomato plants by rooting the healthy tomato suckers. Now let's say I was all out of tomato seeds. I could actually clone this existing tomato plant by breaking off one of the tomato suckers that you see right here. All you have to do to root this tomato sucker is to bury the stem in moist potting mix in a humid environment out of direct sunlight, because direct sunlight will cause this sucker to wither and die before it forms roots. It will quickly form adventitious roots along the stem, and then once you get a good root system, you will be able to transplant this tomato sucker and it will be a direct clone of the mother tomato plant. This unique property is why we transplant our tomatoes deeply and why we can easily and quickly root our tomato suckers to form new plants. And that's today's 2-minute garden tip. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell to receive new video notifications, and check out our Amazon storefront and spread shop in the video description for a list of the gardening products I use and awesome custom designed apparel and other gear. Your support is greatly appreciated.